A ratchet and a socket are some of the most valuable tools you can own. But do you know the different variables that are involved when choosing a ratchet and a socket? In this video, we're going to cover 8 different details to help you select the tools properly for your job so that you can wrench like a pro. So welcome to Learn from Dad. I'm James. We're out here in my garage today and we're going to talk about ratchets and sockets. Now, I have a significant amount of experience and knowledge to share, but I know many of you out there are pros and experienced DIYers. So if you wouldn't mind, drop some comments down below as we go along. Let's help share our knowledge with all these new people who are out there to make them as good as us someday. So first, let's start with ratchets. Hold up, time out. We got to keep this global friendly. So this, to many of us, is a ratchet in America and many places in the world. However, globally, this is often called a wrench with a socket. And this, which I normally call a wrench, is a spanner. I was in South Africa teaching a class. We were in the middle of nowhere with a bunch of mechanics. And I asked one of them to specifically get me a 10mm wrench because that's what we needed. It would fit. And he came back with this, and I was so perplexed, I thought he was giving me a hard time because we were having fun. But he didn't know I needed a wrench. He brought me a wrench. Now you know.
Here we go!
With ratchets, and in particular on ratchets, there's 4 different things that I want to talk about, including the size of the drive, the size of the handle, the flexibility of the handle and head or lack thereof, and then the 4th one is some specialty features. So let's dive right in. So first, let's talk about drive size. Now, drive size, we're referring to the square shank that's on the underside of the ratchet. We're going to see 1/4 inch, which in millimeters, this would be 6.4, but typically even around the globe, it's referred to by an inch fractions. The next one is going to be 3/8 of an inch, or a 9.5 millimeter. Finally, the typical homeowner application is going to be 1/2 inch, or 12.7 millimeter. They do make 3/4 inch and 1 inch size drives. I just don't happen to have any here. So if you find yourself in a situation where you've got a 3/8 inch drive ratchet, but a 1/2 inch socket, that's fine. It's very common that they make adapters. This happens to be a 1/2 inch drive into a 3/8 inch socket. So there's all kinds of them you can adapt around. Now the next thing we'll talk about is size of the handle, both in length and in diameter. And those really serve 2 purposes. As you go down in drive size, so this happens to be a 1/4 inch and this happens to be a 1/2 inch, the length is significantly different. Typically, I'm going to use smaller sockets on my 1/4 inch drive, and I'm not going to need nearly as much rotational torque, so therefore I don't need nearly as long of a lever. However, that's not always the case. I may need to get into a place that is very tight, so I have something like this that is a 3/8 inch drive, but significantly shorter compared to this one. Or we get into the situation where I need significant amount of torque, so I grab a breaker bar, which is in this case, a 1/2 inch drive of significant length. So the other element of handle size is diameter. You might say, well, gosh, it doesn't really make that big of a difference. And yeah, you might be right, depending on who you are, but I have significantly large hands. And so when I go to grab a tool, that matters to me because how I grip and hold one of these changes. This ratchet's got a very large kind of rubberized coating on it compared to this one, which overall is a larger diameter and easier for me to grip. Now, many times those grips do have a knurled surface on them to try to help with retaining grip. Now, the 3rd element of ratchets, it's going to be the flexibility of the shank or the head or the lack thereof. Commonly referred to in this example is a flex head. Now, this can go up at any given angle to make it easier to get into a tight spot and make quick rotations or come around something that might be obstructing you. There's also ratchets that can flex or be flexible at angle rotationally or horizontally. So this ratchet, for example, can get around something and bend with this extra rotation. Now the 4th point I'd like to make about ratchets is specialty features that you'll run into. These ones, one thing that's nice is these knurled knobs that are on the top, that if you're in a tight space where I can't actually move the ratchet, I can get my fingers on and make a small rotation. Another feature that would be considered somewhat specialty is what's the fit and finish of it to help not only protect it from rusting, but also Again, going back to the grip element of many of these are round, where some of these, such as this was one of my first ratchets in my first set, is more of a square shaped shank. So gives a different feel when you're going to grip it. Now, a final example of something that's very unique and specialty is this one. In this case, it has an extendable handle, and then it's also got this really interesting bidirectional rotation of the handle that allows the head to spin. Now, when it comes to right or wrong versus brand, some people have significant loyalty. I don't, as you can probably see. This one is a John Deere ratchet. This one's a Cobalt ratchet. This one's a Craftsman ratchet. I've got some SK breaker bars. I've got some unique ones from my dad. This one's an Armstrong. I've even got some that came from Menards. These are Performax, nothing special. I will tell you that my personal favorite of ratchets is this one, and I love it. It cost me very little. I have never been able to find the exact same one. I've got lucky and bought both 3/8 and half at the same time. But what I love about it is big hands, big grip, non-slip. I love that because my hands are often dirty, covered in oil. So I like that. It's very long, good torque. And I find myself in all kinds of situations where I need that rotational space to get around something and be able to work. So if you have a particular favorite ratchet or feature of a ratchet or brand of a ratchet, drop comments down below. I'm curious to hear it. So if you're getting a kick out of this content, go ahead and hit the like button. It energizes me to want to do more videos. I also encourage you to subscribe, come back. There's much more to come. Now let's jump over and take a look at sockets. So jumping over into sockets, there's really 4 key categories that we want to talk about. Number 1, the size of the socket. Number 2, the depth of the socket. Number 3 is the strength rating of the socket. And number 4 is going to be the specialty features. So as we talk about socket size, yes, you need to make sure the drive size is accurate, but we really need to make sure that the size of the physical socket matches up with the hardware we're going to be working with. So in this case, I have a matched set here. So this is a 13 millimeter in my left hand and a 1/2 inch in my right hand, which these are actually close enough they could be interchanged. I'm going to put a chart up on the screen here where we can take a look at different sizes of metric and fractional inch, or SIE as many people refer to it, and where you can have crossover. So a quick example of this, I've got an SIE or an inch piece of hardware in my right hand, and I've got a metric piece of hardware in my left hand. Now if you're looking at these and you're not sure how to tell the difference, go take a look at the other video I produced. It has to do with the markings that are on the head. But in this particular example, a 19 millimeter and a 3/4 both fit these bolts equally. So if I take the 3/4 onto the metric bolt, it fits snugly. If I take it onto the inch bolt, it fits snugly. Likewise, if I take the 19 millimeter onto the metric bolt, it fits snugly. And likewise, when I put it onto the SIE or inch bolt, it also fits snugly. So the next element we need to worry about with sockets is the depth. So I've got 2 19 millimeters here. My right hand would be considered a standard depth socket, and in my left hand would be considered a deep well socket. Now ultimately what that's going to give me is a significantly different amount of headroom that a piece of hardware could stick inside here before hitting the drive shank. Now they also make a shallow well socket. This just happens to be some I have that are swivels, but comparatively, you can see that there's just not quite as much headroom in that shallow as there is the standard, and then significantly different when you compare it to the deep well. Now the third element we're really going to pay attention to when it comes to sockets is the strength rating. And ultimately what I mean by strength rating is it impact rated or is it not impact rated? So you can see on both sides of my toolbox, I've got different trays. I'll talk about those trays in a minute, but I've got 1/4 inch drive, 3/8 inch drive, 1/2 inch drive, and then another set of 1/2 inch drive that are black. So these black ones are my impact sockets. And you'll notice that when you look at them, not only are they made of a different type of material and hardness, but they're significantly thicker. So if I'll grab what I think is close to the equivalent, you can see that there's a huge difference when it comes to the physical wall thickness. This one is meant to take a significant amount of impact and torque abuse compared to this one. Could I take this particular socket and put it onto my impact gun and use it? Absolutely. Have I done it before? Yeah, you betcha I have. Primarily because this one, the outside diameter, didn't fit in the space I was working with. Now, what's the risk? Well, with a thinner wall socket like this with too much torque, I might fracture it and break it, and I just go buy a new one. Now, there are also sockets, I don't happen to have any, that have a very thin wall that can fit inside of a tight space. I've been in some situations on engines where I just couldn't get down in, and I had to grind the socket down to make the walls thinner to be able to fit. So the last reference we want to talk about relative to sockets is the number of points that are inside of the socket. You'll hear mechanics talk about a 12-point socket. So if you counted all these up in this star, it's 12 points. Or over here, I have 6 points. Now, what's the benefits of one over the other? On a 6-point socket, one of the biggest benefits is you have greater contact surface when you put that over a piece of hex hardware, versus when you put a 12-point over, you've got a smaller surface bearing area on the edges of that piece of hardware. So if you have a really tight or stuck piece of hardware and you're particularly using an impact gun, for example, a 12-point, you may have a tendency to round off the points on the hardware. The other advantage of a 12-point is you have fewer incremental movements when you're trying to get it on the hardware itself. So if I put it over, I have less rotational degrees to be able to get it into the next spot. So before we step away from sockets, one last thing I was going to point out. Everybody's got different trays that they like to use. I just wanted to show what I was using, which are Hansen socket trays. I've used a variety over the years, and these are the ones that I like the most. They seem to fit the best out of everything that I have, and I like that they store vertically. So I will drop a link down below, but again, everybody has different things they like. If you have a particular socket tray that you like, I would be curious. Drop it in the comments below so that we can learn more about it. So one thing I had not talked about yet that you probably saw in my toolbox that may go between a socket and a ratchet is an extension. And this is going to help you reach back into some hidden place that you can't get your hands into. They come in all different sizes, so 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch, 3/8, different lengths, depending on what the job is you're doing. So one little bonus item I wanted to show you was this set here that I have that I'm guessing somebody watching is saying, what the heck is that back there? Well, this is what's referred to as a pass-through ratchet and socket. So you'll see the ratchet itself, the ratcheting mechanisms on the inside. The socket has a drive that is on the outside, and then that socket itself is hollow, just like the ratchet. So for example, when I put this together, you can see directly through that. Now, why would I use that? If I had a really long piece of hardware, or maybe I'm working on all thread that's coming down through some unistrut, hanging from a ceiling in an industrial application, I can take and actually pass that hardware through and allow me to ratchet and pull it back off. So there you have it, folks. That's hopefully everything you wanted to know, at least fundamentally, about ratchets and sockets. So if you're new to tools, you'll be able to confidently walk into a store, take a look at a kit or individual components and say, I get it. I understand what I would use, what I'm looking for, what I'm buying. For all you professionals, mechanics, hobbyists, DIYers that have a lot of tools, hopefully you found it was entertaining to see inside of my toolbox. I always find it entertaining to go dig through some of my buddies' toolbox and see, what do you have that I don't have that maybe I should go buy? Anywho, thanks for joining in. I appreciate it. I will see you on the next video. Stay curious.